Hello folks. Today we are going to describe about data driven testing. So this is the very most important topic which is gonna to be asked in the interview. So interviewer will ask, do you know data driven testing? Then you have to say yes. I know data driven testing. So first of all, let me talk you about what is data driven testing, why we have to perform data driven testing, and what are the steps that can be included to perform data driven testing. So let me go to the one note, and here let's say this is our data set. So this is our data set. In that there are two columns. The first column is book ID, book ID, and the second column name is customer name, customer name, so customer name. So let's say in that data set we are having five rows, and book ID is here. Let's say one, and customer name is let's say Prince. Second name is let's say Kim. Third name is let's say John. Fourth name is having some Mary. So and so on and so on. So in this data set, we are having two columns. So book ID is the first column and the customer name is the second column. And in that we are having one row, two row, three row, four rows, and so on. So five rows. So the first data row is one with this prince name. Prince is the customer name. First data element would be this pair of data one and prince. The second element will be book ID is two and the customer name is Kim. In the third, we are having third element. So in third element, book ID is three and customer name is John, and so on. So in this data, we want to fetch on the first iterations. Let's say this is the first iteration, and in first iteration, we want to fetch this first pair of data. So one and prince. So one and prince. We want to fetch. So whenever we want to fetch this one as a book ID and prince is as the customer name, and if we have to perform the operations on this data, and if this data returns something valid response, so this is the external file. So this is the external file where we have sets of data, and from these sets of data we are fetching this one pair of second pair. So second pair will be 2 and Kim, and in third pair we have to use John, and so on. So we are fetching one pair of data from the external file, second pair of data from the external file, third pair of data from external file, and so on. So this type of testing is called data driven testing. So let me talk here. So this API allows you to reserve a book. So already I have listed lots of post, get, delete, and post is for register client. So I have already listed some API which is going to perform to reserve a book. So API is available at https:// simple books dash API. dot glitch dot me. So this is the first API, register API client. Post method, if we use this URL and endpoint as API clients, so we will be getting access token, and in that access token we have to send the access token in the submit an order and help of post method, and with this endpoint and with this URL, and the same token we have to use in the get request and delete request. So let me come over here. So step 1 says register API client. So I have already listed post request we have to send first, and with this base URL. So whatever we are taking into the curly braces, so this is represented that this is a variable. So variable we have to include into the double curly braces, starting curly braces and the ending curly braces, with followed with this endpoint. So base URL is coming. So here I have already taken this URL into the base URL. So this you can see that base URL, and from here base URL and with this endpoint, and we have to send this request body, and we will be getting response as this access token, and in post response we have to set it into the environment variable bearer token, and we are taking from the response dot json access token. So in the step 2 I have already submit an order, and in third step get an order, and in fourth step we are just deleting the order. So I have already listed this data, and I will share this doc to you. Please refer to that. It will be helpful when you will perform API testing, data driven testing. So this doc I will be sharing into the descriptions. So let me come to the Postman, and let me create the one collection. Choose blank collection, and here you have to name as, let's say, API book collection, book collection, API book collection access token. So here this is the collection name, and in this collection have to use the post request. So first of all add request, and in that you have to use post request, and you have to enter this URL. So base, first of all I will take the base first of all I will take this URL, and I will convert into the base URL. I will just save this base URL in the environment variable, and in this after that onwards I will be using this base URL in the respective, just paste it here. So make sure you have to type it correctly, because here simple books glitch.me, and you we will be using endpoints. So this will be the endpoint. Control C, come here, just paste it here, and make sure you have to write it in a proper manner. Like whatever I am writing, just write it in the same manner so that you can send the post request. So this thing done, and in post request you always need required body. So in body you have to select raw, and in that you have to select JSON, because for this requirement we need to send the JSON type. That's why I have selected raw and JSON. From this drop down you can select any type, like text, JavaScript, JSON, HTML, XML. But for this requirement, but for this post request, we have to send JSON object. Now come here and just go to the PDF, and you need to send this data. Just copy this and come to Postman and send it here. This thing done, and when you will send this, so it is saying API client already registered, try a different email. So I will be using Prince Kumar 01. Let me send this. So we already got this access token, and whenever we need to send this access token to the environment variable, whenever we want to set this access token into the environment variable, where you will be setting this, I have already explained in the previous videos, like whenever the response will be generating, and if you want to set this access token into the environment variable, then you need to come to the script section, and in post response you have to use pm dot environment dot set what you need to set. Let's say bearer token. I am naming this as bearer, bearer token. And from here I will be using pm dot response dot json is a method, and on that json we want to access token, we want to use access token. So a double c e double s, and I have already illustrated in the previous videos how we have to parse the json value. Let me explain in here as well. So on the pm is a library. So on the postman pm means postman, pm stands for postman. So postman is a library. So postman, on the postman response, so on this response we are taking this as json. So the json is a method, and on that method we are access this access token. So this access token will be used, and this access token, so this will be the value and this will be the key. So this value we are setting into this key, and we are setting into the environment variable. So if you will go to environment, qa environment, so there is no such variable. But when you go here, let's say new request and name this, so api token, book api token, let's say book api token, name this, and come when you come here, so again it will say prince, this email id will be required. So another, so again here the another email id will be required. Let's say I'm using two, and whenever just save this before sending any request, just save all the things that you have performed, just save and send the request. Now access token is changed and 201 created. So if you will go to the environment, qa environment, so bearer token is already set. Now come to the collections, and we have to use this access token in every request, but we need to create another collection. I will tell you in a bit why we need to create another collection. For that, why we are not writing here in this collection, let me first create, and I will tell you in a bit. So let's say here I am using uh, order order collection, order collection, let's say order collection, data driven testing, data driven testing. So this thing done, and collection name set. When you will just go here and add request, so first of all you need to, when you will go to the pdf file, so as a step one we have already completed. So register api client, so we have already used post request with this url and this api endpoints, and we have already set this, we have already sent this request body, and in response we have already got this access token, and in post response we have already set this bearer token. Now in the step 2 we have to use this post request and with authorization and request body, and in the request body we need to send book id and customer name. So let me go to the Postman and I will tell you. So first of all I need to choose put request, and this time I will not paste the URL like this, https simplebooks api glitch.me. So till me glitch.me till me, I will be setting into the environment variable this value, and from environment variable I will be taking the value here. So how we will do? Go to the environment, QA environment. I have already created this QA environment, and here I am just using URL base URL. And when you will go to this, so this is the URL. Come here, and initial value would be this. So just make sure you have to write it here as well. So this is the one time you need to set this base URL in the environment variable, and here also. So just save this. So base URL is saved into the QA environment variable, and you go to collections, and here you need to just, let's say, submit, rename this submit order. And in submit order we are using post method, and here I will not write as https simple books api glitch.me, and we want to take it from environment variable. So I will be using this curly braces, and when you will go to the second base URL, so it says e means environment variable. I have already illustrated in the previous videos. Make sure you have to go there and just understand well, and I have illustrated with many examples with many real time uses how we have to use that. So you just refer that, you will get better understanding. So you come here base URL, and in this you will be using this orders. So just come here, just use this. I have already copied this, so go there, remove everything, just paste it here, orders. And in orders, you what you need to send, so authorization is also required. You see authorization bearer token, so your token you need to pass your token. So come here, Postman, and in authorization you have to choose bearer token. Come here, and bearer token you already set. Now in body, so whenever you using post request, you need to select body, and in for this request you need to select raw, and it is of JSON type. So it is of JSON type already selected, and go there. What you need to send this body, just copy this and come to Postman, just paste it here. So book ID is one and customer name is Prince. Just send this. So in this, we want to use scripts as well. So we want to validate this 201 as a status code. And from here, I just want to capture this order ID, so that in the get request, when you will get the request, so order ID is required. When you just delete the request, order ID is required. So where you will be setting this, so from this response, where you will take this order id and save into the environment variable. So go to the script section, go to the post response, and just use here. So first of all I will take this status code, so I will make the assertions. I will just write the assertions for this status code. Then how we will be writing? Pm dot test is a method. Test is a method, and in that you need to, let's say, your test name. So in that double quotes you need to write test name. So I am just writing status code is 201, and just use comma, and after that you have to use function, and just function brackets, and you have to use curly braces here, and here at the last you need to use semicolon, and here what you will be writing, pm dot response dot to have to have dot status, to have dot status. So status is a another method, and in status what you need to write, two not one. So in this what we have done, so pm is again library, and in that we are calling one method, test method, and this is the test name. So this is the actual text. You when you will perform assertions, and you whenever you will check the console, so this status code is 201, this text will be visible. So I have already just set this for better visibility, and function I am using this, we can use arrow function as well, and in here pm dot response, so postman dot response, from response to have a status, what you want to just check, two not one. So here one thing done for status code, and if I want to just capture this order id, then how we will be taking pm dot environment, I just want to set this order id into the environment variable, then we will be writing here code pm environment dot set, what you want to set, order id. So the key will be order id, order id. So order id will be key, and use comma, and from this response, so from this response we want to take order id, so we will be writing pm dot response dot json. So json is a method, so you need to write like this json, and you need to set order id, you want to fetch this order id. So submit an order, this thing is done. When you will send this, so earlier order id was not set, when you go to the environment, qa environment, so order id is set now. So ylcg, go to the collection, so yicg, yeah, it is yicg. So in collection environment yicg, yes, it's correct. So already set. Now we are moving to step 3, get an order. So for this we will be using get http method, and we will be using this url and endpoints. Control C, go to the postman. So just go over there, order collection, excuse me. Oh, yeah, order collection data driven testing, and in that you need to add request, and we need to select get request and paste it here, orders and order id. So in body we do not require anybody to data to be sent, because this is get request, and for this we need authorization, because if you will go to the doc, so authorization is required. So you go there and choose authorization, and from here choose bearer token. So bearer token, this value will be there, and just send the request. So this response we are getting id, book id 1, customer name prince, and created by quantity 1, and timestamp this one. We have completed this step 3, get an order. So we have used get request with authorization as a bearer token, and we got the response. And in step 4 we have to use the delete an order. So go there, create one request, add request. So this time I will be little fast. Go there, base URL, copy this, come to Postman, here paste it, and in that we need authorization also. So this authorization is required. Go to the Postman, go to the authorization, select from here bearer token. Here bearer token will be there, and in body we do not require data to be sent. So all set, and just send the request. So 204 content, I will just validate this 200. So go to, we can use the snippets as well. So let me use snippets over here. I will be using this status code snippets from snippets, but in the previous request, for this post request, I have created by myself. But you need to familiar with all the code and syntax. So maybe in interview that can be asked. Just familiarize with this concept. So in get request, I am using this code status, and here 200. Okay, get request, get request also I want in go to scripts. So 204. So come here, and I will be using the status code here, and just change the text and the value 204. So in delete request, I just want to unset the value. So clear this environment variable. Go to the queue environment. So there are only order ID, this order ID. I just want to remove from the queue environment variable. So go to the collections. How will be using this? So just write here pm dot environment dot unset. You have to use unset method, and in this you need to pass order id. So in double quotes, order id. Just save this. So all thing done, and here you need to change delete delete order. Just change the name, delete order, and here as well. So here get request, get order. Yeah, get order. So that's all. Save this. Now I just want to use data driven testing. So how we will be using data driven testing? So already created post request, we have already created get request, and we have already created delete request. So I just want to execute this collection. So click on the three dots. Here it is saying run collection. So whenever we will click on the run collection, all the methods, HTTP methods, will be executed in a sequence. So each request is dependent on the another one. So submit order is dependent on the this book API token, and also get order is dependent on the submit order, and delete order is also dependent on this submit order. When we click on the run collection, it will be executed in a sequential manner. So just click on this run collection. So here the post is selected, post method is selected, so this submit order will be selected, and get order is selected. To iterate over one, and I just want to delay for 2 seconds. Now data driven testing picture comes here. When you select file, so here it is option that is called select file. So when you click on this, so let's say on the desktop I have already taken this data driven testing books JSON file. Just select this one. So this is the file. So this is the file data driven testing books JSON file. So notepad, I have already created this JSON. So you can see that this is the array, and starting array, and this is the ending array. And in this I have created one, two, three, four, 5. So 5 JSON data, which is having each key and value. Key, so key will be customer name, and value will be per prince. So again here in this JSON, whenever you want to write, so make sure in the JSON object you need to write as key should be always be in double quotes, and value, and it depends, like if it is string type, If it is a string type, then must be included in double quotes, starting double quotes and ending double quotes. And when it is an integer, then we do not require to include in double quotes. And whenever the key one set of data like this one, key and value pair is just created, and when we want to separate one key value to the with the another one, so make sure that we have to use comma here. And the last key value attributes, we do not require to use comma. And when this one object is created, JSON object, and if we want to create another object like this, so before that we need to use comma. So in similar way, I have created like this: book ID 1 and customer name Kim. So book ID 4 and customer name John, and with this book ID 5 and customer name David, and again book ID 5 and customer name Prince. Create this JSON object. Make sure the file type should be ended with .json, JSON. So come here, and I just want, so I have just selected the JSON file. And if you want to preview, so iterations will be 1 2 3 3 4 5. Why 5? Because I have 5 sets of data. If you will see, one set of data, two set of data, three set of data, four set of data, five set of data. So 5 iterations. So go there, Postman. In Postman, there are 5 iterations. We have already just seen that. And in book ID, so book ID 1 1 4 5 5. So 1 1 4 4 4 5 5. If you will go and see what is the book ID, so one is there, one is there, four is there, five is there, and five is there. So correct data is coming. Prince Kim. So customer name Prince Kim, John, David, Prince. So you will see that the same Prince, Kim, John, David, Prince. The data displays in this manner. So everything is in aligned, everything is proper, and everything is displayed in a proper manner. Then we have to think like whatever we have created the JSON file, and in JSON file whatever we have created the data, it is correct manner. So just close this, and I just want to make one. So the post is selected, get is selected, delete is selected, and I just want to iterate for 1 and delay is for 3, and I have already selected this file, data driven testing books JSON file. Click on run collection. So only one iterations will be executed. So you can see that one iteration 1, and for post, get, and update. So 201 created. This is passed, this is also passed, get is also passed, and delete is also passed. So I have used assertions over there, if you will remember. So in the script tab I have already used assertions. So this thing passed. In get order, this thing also passed, and in delete order, this thing also passed. So in the same, and if you will see to the go to the environments, QA environment, order ID will be deleted because I have written the scripts in delete section. So if we do not require, then I just want to unset this variable. Now if we want to execute for the 5 iterations, so our collection should run for the 5 times. So run collection, and post get delete is already selected, and here I need to change, so I will change for 5 iterations, and delay is for 3 seconds, so that we can easily see what is it is performing. And data file, I am just selecting this one, this file, data driven testing books JSON file, and just preview. So all the data is in correct manner, and just run order collection data driven testing. So if you will see, 5 times will be, it will be executed. Just check. So iterations 5, and duration is this one, all test is 15. So 5 into 3 15. So in one iterations there are 3 requests that is executed. So in post get delete, and iteration 2 same, it's repeated post get delete in the same manner. Fifth iterations it continued. And if you will go to view summary, then you can see all are in green. One, two, three, four, five. So five iterations, and on post get delete all are in green color. It means it successfully passed. So all the 15 requests is just executed post get delete. Again, second iteration post get delete. On the third iteration post get delete. In the same manner, it's executed. And you can see 200, 200, 204. Again, it's created 200, and it is for get request and for delete request. So it's executed. So that's all for data driven testing. If you have any questions, anything related to this data driven testing, please ask in the comment. I will happy to assist you. Thank you very much.